Hey guys, how you doing, Scruffy fam? I know we haven't posted a video in a while, and I just kind of wanted to give you guys an update of what's been going on. Tasha hasn't been feeling very good, and she's my video editor, so we have a lot of content that we will get up here very shortly. I wanted to share with you guys, though, something today that I talked about before, and it's my story with PTSD. I did a video before of my PTSD and BJJ, and I'll link that down below, so if you want to check that out, you can. But today I wanted to talk to you about my story with PTSD. My PTSD is really focused around two separate events. The first one happened in 2000 when I was in Bosnia, and the second one happened in 2003 when I was in Iraq. In 2000, I went to Bosnia, and if you don't know the history of Bosnia Herzegovina, there was a genocide that happened there between the Muslims and the Christians, and they just mass genocide. Well, one of the things I did while I was there was I guarded a mass gravesite, and I got to see the bones of the people who had been killed. And one of the images that stuck with me that I just have not been able to get out of my head is the image of small bones with big bones. And our interpreter told us that they would have the parents hold their children to save on ammunition because ammo was too expensive. That rocked me, but it didn't have an impact on me of like nightmares and everything else. It was just something that it really started to change my perception of the world. In 2003, we were doing a handover of our unit from one captain to another, and on the very last day of that handover, we were in the Abu Ghraib district at the market, and one of our soldiers' weapons discharged when he was getting back on the Humvee, and it entered through the front of the captain's Kevlar and exited out behind his ear, killed him instantly. I was one of the people that I was watching as it happened. I was one of the NCOs that was in charge of the convoy, and I didn't know at the time the events that happened there and afterwards have never left me. So when I came back in 2004, I couldn't sleep. Like, I could not sleep, and I started having nightmares. I was anxious all the time. I was depressed if I wasn't at work. I was angry all the time. And during this time, I had gotten married to a girl I dated in college. She got pregnant in the first year of our marriage. We had a kid. I was doing really well in the Army, like really, really well in the Army. And I was so successful at Army stuff that no one cared what was going on in my personal life. My personal life was falling apart. I went untreated for such a long time that a series of events happened to where I tried to kill myself, and I ended up in the hospital. Those events that led to that also led to me getting divorced, losing contact with my son, getting out of the Army, not having anywhere to live, being homeless for a little bit. Just crazy, okay? And so what my PTSD looked like initially was I was on 9 different medications, in counseling 3 times a week, in a group once a week, and I was on suicide watch. When I got out of the Army, I got handed over to the VA. The VA wanted to put me inpatient again because I wasn't sleeping and I was trying to self-medicate with alcohol, and that wasn't acting too well with the medications I was already taking. So I spent about 2 years as a hot mess after I got out of the Army trying to get my stuff together, which I had no contact with my son. I had limited contact with my family. I really didn't have a support group. What I did was I ended up joining a martial arts school, and that martial arts school saved my life. I can't put it any other way. It straight saved my life because it gave me a purpose and something to do. And so I was there 6 days a week, and through that, I was able to come off some of my medications, make it to my appointments, and, you know, for the last few years, I've been doing really, really well with my PTSD. Because of that, I met my current wife, who is just an amazing blessing. Tasha is absolutely amazing. She has made it her life's work to find ways to help me with my PTSD that aren't psychotic drugs. that to me has been the hugest blessing. Um, and I will tell you guys right now, I do not take any prescription medications for PTSD. None. And I am rated 100% permanent and total disabled for PTSD by the VA. What I do take is mostly centered around trying to get me to sleep. I haven't slept a full night since 2004. I average 2.5 to 3 hours of sleep uninterrupted a night. I'll wake up 6 to 7 times a night. Sometimes I have to get out of bed, walk around the house. If any of you have PTSD and watch this, perimeter checks, I do them almost every single night. Still, what, 13 years later, still do them. I have really bad migraines, debilitating migraines. I have some paranoia and anxiety, depression. I have those things, but depending on the day, the situation, the stress level, they may or may not impact me the same. So one of the biggest things that we're trying to do is get me to sleep at night. And there's a couple of ways. One of the things, Tasha gave me this thing. So that CBD oil is something that she's researched a lot of, and I'm not even going to pretend to tell you all the ins and outs of it or what it does, but we've just started trying this about a week and a half ago, and I'm definitely sleeping better. I'm not getting up as much, but I have to do it in concert with something else, and I use this thing every night. It's called an Alpha Stim. I actually got that from the VA. It hooks up to my ears. I put one on each side of my ear like this, and it's supposed to help you sleep. Just using it by itself, I wasn't sleeping very well, and I have it cranked up to the highest setting. But using the CBD thing with that has been helping me sleep. The other thing that Tasha gave me is when my anxiety gets really bad, I take this thing, and it's just like a little mouth spray. One of my other symptoms is when my anxiety gets high, my hands will start to shake and tremble. And one of the ways to combat that, we did the ultimate test. We went to an airport to go on a flight back to Phoenix to visit people, and airport is almost guaranteed hands trembling, freaking out. I took 4 pumps of that, and my hands didn't tremble at all. So for me, I was like, whoa, that's cool. And then the last thing I have that this is the only prescription medication I take for my migraines are so bad that I've got this Imitrex injector. It's my little injector box. And I have a pen injector, right? So I take this and I load the needles up and it's sick in my arm when I have a really, really bad migraine. I've gotten to the point where neurologists have said, don't use that for all your migraines, which is like, okay, you want me to cruise through a migraine that has me in the fetal position or vomiting? Awesome. So I've got some rules of when I can take that. I got some classifications of headaches, like the thumpers, where you feel every time your heart beats in your head like someone's hitting you with a sledgehammer in your forehead. That one's fun. I'm allowed to take it for that. And when my migraine is so bad I feel like I'm going to throw up, I can take a shot for that. Any other one, I'm not allowed to take it. So when you get the migraines and feel like someone's trying to kick your eyeballs out the back of your head, can't take it. When you have the tension ones that feel like someone's trying to break your neck, can't take it. I have to cruise through those ones. So we're exploring to see if the CBD will help with that. Tasha also has a couple other natural remedies that she tries to give me. But my biggest issues that I have with my PTSD is sleep, anxiety, depression, paranoia, migraines, and memory. Memory is the other one. And I'm actually going to get tested next week at the VA to make sure that my memory loss is normal and not due to something else. So one of the things I can say about my PTSD is that it doesn't define who I am. Most people that know me, this will be the first time they hear about what my PTSD symptoms are. So I'm kind of taking a leap of faith here that, it doesn't change people's perceptions about me. I've got PTSD, but it doesn't define who I am. Does it limit me in some stuff? It absolutely does. I would be lying to you if I told you that I can live every day perfectly fine. No, I can't. It's affected me in ways that are going to continue to affect me my whole life. I lost years with Elijah because of it. Thank God that he has moved on and forgiven me for a lot of the stuff I did. I never hurt him. I never hit him. It was just not being there. My current wife, Tasha never wanted somebody that has PTSD. There are days where I am not emotionally available to her. And I'll tell you right now, when she's pregnant, those aren't happy times. They're hard. You know, if I'm depressed and I don't want to do anything, she has to pull me out of that pit. At the same time, she's dealing with all the emotions of in the second trimester of pregnancy with our second baby on the way, our third kid that's going to be in this house. So it's hard. It's absolutely hard. And some of the ways that I'm overcoming this is I do BJJ. I try to do it at least 4 days a week. Sometimes I'll do it 6 days a week. Other things I'm doing is I'm trying to give back to other veterans. I've actually been applying for jobs that deal with serving and volunteering with veterans. Other things I do is I'm actively involved in my church. I try to be active with Wounded Warrior Project when I can be. I try to find ways to connect with other veterans, and I go to counseling. Every couple weeks I'll go in, I'll talk, and it's just a chance for me to vent. So if any of you are struggling with PTSD, I want you to know that you're not alone. And as bad as your PTSD is, it doesn't define who you are. There are ways for you to be able to live your life and not have to check your 6 every 2 seconds. There are ways for you to live your life and not regret decisions that were made, have fear over things that happened to you, or be stuck in that moment that you can't shake. I know it's hard. I have the same dream every night that I've had for 13 years. I see the same thing that happened. So I want to encourage you with this. You can do it. If you're struggling with PTSD, I sincerely urge you to reach out to a vet center, the VA hospital, Wounded Warrior Project, DAV, VFW, American Legion, the Veteran Crisis Line, all of them. Find someone who you can connect with. A lot of places have their own local veteran support groups. Find someone to connect with. Guys, I'm going to end with this. If any of you are struggling and you need help, please, you can reach us in the comments. I will answer every single one. I will give you any resources that you need to find help. And if you just need an ear to dump on, post a comment and we'll see what we can do. Guys, if you like the content we're posting, please subscribe, hit the little notification. I'm going to post links down below to my video about my PTSD and BJJ. I'm also going to post links to some of the veteran service organizations for PTSD and ways that you can get help if you need help, or if you have a loved one that needs help, ways that you can help them get help. So I'll have some cheerier stuff coming later. Tasha's feeling better. We're going to get some more stuff uploaded here shortly. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for subscribing. And guys, we'll talk to you later.